Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and today I've got a bit of a story time for you. So I wanted to actually do a video on this, on what happened to me at the blood center for a little bit, because I'm like, I feel like I just want to talk about it, it was something that was somewhat traumatic. Well, it was like somewhat traumatic, and at the same time, I'm like, it is something that can happen when you go donate blood and everything like that, and I don't want to deter people from donating blood. If they want to, they can. It's just my experience. The last time I went wasn't the best, but wasn't the worst. So I did actually put a tweet thread out about this a little bit ago, like when it actually happened. And I kind of just was like, forgot about it, and then I was like, you know what, might as well just make a video, like, just because I put it on Twitter doesn't mean I can't make a video out of it. So this is where I am. So December, before Christmas, I decided to go donate blood because it had been about a month since the last donation, and if you're not aware, I was mixing plasma and blood donation, so I was doing one blood donation and then doing about 2 or 3 plasmas in between. That's how I was doing it. So every month I was going to the blood center. Yeah, so I was going to go to the blood center to donate plasma. That was what I was going to do. I had donated plasma a couple of times, at least 5 times at that point. So I was like, okay, well, we'll be fine. Like, I've never had a bad experience. Like, I'm going to be turning the fan on because it's so hot in here. Oh my god. Anyway, so if you can hear the fan, just leave it be. It's hot. I need some air. Okay. Anyway, where was I at? So I went through all the procedures to check up and form filling, and I got into the chair. They put the needle in me. Everything was fine. And then then the machine stopped. Oh god. And they're like, oh, there's just an air bubble. Like, it's fine. We'll fix it up quickly. And then I was there freaking out because, like, I had nurse friends I know about, like, air bubbles being in the tube can be very not good for you. So I was a little freaked out, like, even though the nurses were saying it would be fine. I was like, oh, but still there's an air bubble in the tube. That's not good. Anyway, so they fixed it. They thought they'd fixed it, and then they tried to start the machine again. And then the machine kind of went for 2 seconds and then it stopped again. So like, okay, well, what the hell is going on? So they ended up, one of the nurses ended up looking at the machine a bit. She started starting it on again. It would go for 2 seconds and then it would stop again. And then she kept looking. She's like, you know what, you're up to the return, because when you do plasma donation, you donate the blood gets taken out, and then it goes through a machine that processes it to take the plasma out of it and then puts the blood back in. So that is what the process is. So when they're doing the return, that was when the blood was coming back into my body. So that was what I was doing. That's what they were like, okay, we'll just start the return because, we'll be fine. Anyway, so they started it, and I was in excruciating pain in my arm. I was like, oh my god, I'm scrunching my face. I'm like, oh my god, like, this has never hurt like this before. Oh my god. And then they stopped it, and then they're like, oh, it's fine, like, you've just got some, just had a bit of a thing where there was a clot or something in your arm that stopped the needle stopped it from going into my body. So my arm had swelled up to be like this massive, like, tumor thing on my, like, in my elbow. And oh my god, I was like looking at it like, oh my god, there's something growing out of my arm. That happened, and they were like, okay, well, we're gonna have to stop you right here because we cannot go and donate any further. And I was like, okay, that's alright, it's all good. Anyway, so they took the needle out, and that was painful as well. And they pretty much got some ice around my arm. They and also bandaged it up how they usually do, got some ice on it to compress it a bit, and told me pretty much to just keep taking Panadol every couple of hours and don't take anything else, because Panadol actually helps with reducing inflammation, and others can agitate inflammation, so it could get it worse. So I had to, I thought I had Panadol in the house, and turns out I didn't. All I had was Nurofen, so I had to go out and get some. So that was fun, and having to get Nurofen Panadol over the counter was an interesting experience because I've never had to do that before. And pretty much she's like, oh, why do you need it? I'm like, because my arm, I went to the blood center and my arm exploded on me. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, you need Panadol for that, love. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I took the bandage off. It was still a bit swollen, and pretty much a day or two later, a bruise started to develop. And this bruise was on my arm for about 2 weeks. So there's a video that actually has this bruise on my arm. I know exactly which video it is. It's my haul video, which has been viewed quite a number of times. So I'm not saying like all people should notice my bruises, but at the same time I'm like, no one's commented saying that they noticed my bruise. So it was so sore. Like, it was like for the first week of me having this bruise, it was so sore. It was like, you know, if I bumped it, it would hurt. It would just couldn't really do much with my arm because it was so sore. After that week, it was fine. It was healing down. It was better, but still. So I don't have any marks left from me. It's like a little bit of one like going down here, which is a bit weird, but yeah, I'll do like a bit of a slideshow of my arm because I took like a photo like practically every day to show what had happened to my arm. And I didn't post it anywhere, but like, it was on my arm for a good 2 weeks. It was like a friend. People like saw it and was like, oh my god, like that's a massive bruise. I'm like, yeah, I know. And like I asked someone at work, I was like, hey, like, did you notice my bruise? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, here it is. And she's like, oh my god, okay. That's a bruise and a half. Because like no one noticed it because it was in the middle of my arm. So that was a weird experience, having something so visible on my arm, yet no one noticing it whatsoever. And because it was kind of dark too, and it had like, it was yellow and green and purple. It was like a lot of different colors. So I haven't donated blood since because they told me to wait 3 months, which is about the 3-month mark now. But I'm still questioning whether I should go back to the blood donation center because I'm still a little bit traumatized from it, and I don't know whether, like, obviously if I go back and just do a normal blood donation, it should be fine. Just at least start getting me back into it, but at the same time it's kind of re-grossed my fear of needles in some way, like especially like inserting it. Like other needles fine, but like there's like where you have to insert it, so I'm like super scared about getting needles again. Yeah, and especially when the COVID vaccine comes out, like I'm gonna be not looking forward to that experience. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience with you about donating blood. Like it was a very weird experience for me, and I hope that I never have to experience anything like that again. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, comment, something. What is your work experience like at the doctor or at, you know, at a blood donation center? Like, I'd like to know because I'm kind of like curious. And subscribe if you want to watch more videos. I just also want to preface this, like I know it should be at the beginning, but I kind of forgot, so it's going to be at the end. But I kind of want to preface this saying that I'm not discrediting the nurses that, you know, I donated blood so many times, and it's just that I had this one bad experience that has kind of put me in a halt of donating blood for some time now. But the nurses are pretty lovely. I haven't really come across a horrible nurse in those centers. Like they're usually very calm because they know that they have to be calm, especially when inserting needles like constantly into different people, and especially when the fear of needles is such a common fear to have, and trying to get people to donate when they have that fear is obviously going to be stressful enough for the person. So so the people that I've dealt with personally in these centers, like, they have been amazing, they are great. I would not, like, I'm not saying anything bad about them or the Red Cross or in any way, shape or form. It's just my experience that I had, and I really would I just wanted to share my experience with you, and just something maybe to keep and be aware of, like, things like this can happen. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!